If not like and subscribe the channel, please just go to the Google or YouTube and search for the Alien Tech Champion. This channel is meant for the technical news about Microsoft Intune, and if you want to learn something regarding any endpoint like mobile devices, Android OS, or anything technical like website, tech blogs, or anything tips, anything related to the and related devices. Okay, so today I am going to talk about one of the major actually not a concern. There is a you have seen that the random changing MAC address with the mobile devices, especially for Android and iOS, right? So how you gonna fix those? I mean, how we can prevent random changing MAC address for the mobile devices through Intune? If you're using user-based authentication, I mean basic authentications, or if you're using OAuth credentials like certificate-based authentications, right? So how you can stop changing so that your network access provider or NAC can identify your devices and grant access for the Wi-Fi and VPN, right? And this is so you see, let's go to the Intune portal first, and so that I will show you. So this is my Intune portal. If you go to the devices, I'm talking about the similar, like I just go to the iOS devices and go to the configurations profile. Here click create profiles, right? I have already made video on how to create the profiles, right, for iOS and Android. And you just scroll down, just select the templates and use the Wi-Fi, right? And if you do taste Wi-Fi or anything as per your company, right, Wi-Fi, right, and give a name or descriptions, and the Wi-Fi type you have to select the basic or enterprise, right? So let me click on the basic, right? So basic will use your you can give the name, right, the SSID name, like test Wi-Fi or something like that. SSID you can give SSID W, right, or air Wi-Fi. Connect automatically, enable hidden network should be there. Security you can use this one, and you see the password, right, password. And if you click on open, no authentication, of course open will not allow, so it should be in personal, and you can give the preset password here. In proxy setting you can manual or automatic proxy if you want to give it. And you see the disable MAC address randomization here. You want to disable it, select yes. Of course, if you don't disable, then what will happen? If you don't disable, then you, as soon as you disconnect the Wi-Fi and connect again, it will change the MAC address. So you see here, for forced devices connecting using this profile to present actual Wi-Fi MAC address instead of random MAC address. Since this allow devices to be tracked by the MAC address, you should only do this necessary when for the network access support, right? So your network access control, like in our case I have Cisco IC, and it will apply to 14.0. If you select the enterprise and then you give name similar, like you can configure whatever you want here, right? Enterprise or WPA to enterprise is PEP. It's depend on your requirement, right? Okay, and then here you have to select disable MAC address and just click on next and configure it, right? Just click on next and configure it. So once you select yes, then it will disable the MAC address redemption. If you select no, it will change your device MAC addresses from physical to random MAC address. And here you see, you should only do this when necessary, and such as for the network access control support. So let's go to the network access control support, right? So we are using Cisco IC, and Cisco IC will identify the endpoint that are connected to the MDM server, in our case Intune, by unique device identifier, as I mentioned, instead of MAC address. right? So to avoid this, earlier we uh, until June 2022, Intune will support, Intune and Cisco IC was supporting MAC address. To avoid issue with that caused the use of random and changing MAC address as a privacy measure as mentioned. I don't want to read this, but just for you I am reading it. Mobile device increasingly use random and changing MAC addresses for each SSID they connect. Some desktop operating system offer, right, ability to MAC address at some interval, right? This means endpoint prevent MAC address to the MDM servers and Cisco IC. As a result, when your MDM server and Cisco IC integrated, an action is initiated for the endpoint, issue arise become a different in between two systems. So to work around this issue, you can configure Cisco IC to use a unique device identifier instead of MAC address. So here I'm in the Wi-Fi profile. From the Intune side we have disabled it, but you have to also configure your Cisco NAC provider to use the unique device identifier, which is actually GUID instead of MAC address. When the endpoint enroll, like when the mobile device enroll into Intune, the MDM server send a certificates with GUID value to the endpoint instead of MAC address, right? So the endpoint uses the certificate for the authentications with the Cisco IC, and MDM server now use the GUID, right? Note the GUID is only available in certificate based authentication. This is the most important. So you must configure the certificate instead of by the MDM server to include the GUID in the SAN URL or in the SAN field. We recommend configuring the SAN URL for GUID in the same certificate used to authenticate, right? Basic authentication method that only use username and password, not able to leverage the GUID base. So if you use the basic authentication, which I have shown you here, right, basic authentication, then GUID will not support. So make sure you use the enterprise, and that will support if you have planned to use Cisco IC. And you see the Cisco API has been also, it will only support version 3 and above. So if you are running on Cisco IC version 2 and below, then it won't support GUID, right? So, and in the certificate profile, I mean the trusted certificate profile or the skip profile, you have to configure this GUID value under the SAN URL. In the next video I will show you how you can put the SAN URL while creating the certificates, so that you will get to know, or this video will be longer. Till then, thank you, have a good day. Thank you.